12 minutes, that is the average time an American doctor spends with a patient over the age of 60. 12 minutes to review your medications, check your blood pressure, ask how you are feeling, and send you on your way. You waited 3 weeks for that appointment, you drove 20 minutes to get there, you sat in that waiting room for another 45, and then 12 minutes. And somewhere inside those 12 minutes, your doctor has to decide what matters and what does not. Here is the thing nobody tells you. What gets left out of those 12 minutes is not unimportant. It is not minor. What gets left out is often exactly the information that could change the entire trajectory of how you age. I am not here to criticize your doctor. Your physician is working inside a broken system, overloaded, understaffed, and under impossible time pressure. This is not about blame. This is about what you deserve to know. And today, we are going to make sure you know it. This is the longevity report. And today, we are talking about the conversation your doctor simply does not have time to have with you. Before we continue, everything in this video is grounded in peer-reviewed research published through 2025 and 2026 from Harvard Medical School, the Mayo Clinic, Stanford, and the National Institute on Aging. This is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for your personal physician's advice. Always consult your doctor before making changes to your health routine. Now, let's get into it. Let me tell you about a man named Gerald. Gerald is 71 years old, retired schoolteacher from Ohio. Sharp, active, takes his grandkids to baseball games on weekends. By every visible measure, Gerald is doing fine. He goes to his annual physical, cholesterol, normal, blood pressure, fine, blood sugar, acceptable, EKG, clean. Doctor shakes his hand, says, "See you next year," and Gerald walks out feeling reassured. 6 months later, Gerald starts noticing things. Exhausted by 2 in the afternoon. Grip feels weaker. Gaining weight around his middle despite eating the same way he always has. Mentally slower. Not dramatically, just slower. Like his engine is running on 5 cylinders instead of 8. He goes back to his doctor, more tests, everything comes back normal. But Gerald is not normal. Gerald is declining, quietly, measurably, in ways that standard testing simply does not catch. And Gerald's story is not unusual, it is not even rare. It is the norm. Here is the core problem. The standard annual physical most Americans over 60 receive was designed to detect disease, to find things that are already broken. It was never designed to detect the slow, silent deterioration that happens in the years before disease appears. There is a massive gap between feeling fine and actually thriving, and most standard testing does not look into that gap at all. A 2025 report from the American College of Preventive Medicine found that the majority of age-related decline in adults over 60 is detectable years before symptoms appear, but only if you know what to measure. So today I'm going to tell you exactly that. 5 specific biomarkers your doctor almost certainly is not checking, and that research says are among the most powerful predictors of how well you will age over the next decade. The first one is ApoB cholesterol. You have heard of LDL cholesterol. Your doctor almost certainly checks it. But here is what most people do not know. LDL measures cholesterol volume, but ApoB measures something far more important. It measures the actual number of cholesterol particles in your blood, specifically the small, dense particles most likely to penetrate arterial walls and cause cardiovascular damage. 2 people can have identical LDL numbers and wildly different ApoB numbers, and the person with higher ApoB faces dramatically higher cardiovascular risk, even though their standard cholesterol test looks perfectly fine. A landmark 2025 study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that ApoB was a significantly stronger predictor of cardiovascular events in adults over 65 than standard LDL measurement alone. This test is widely available, it costs very little, and the vast majority of American seniors have never had it ordered. Ask your doctor specifically by name for an ApoB test at your next appointment. The second indicator is fasting insulin. Most doctors check fasting blood sugar. Some check HbA1c. Both are useful, but neither catches insulin resistance in its early stages, which is precisely when it is most treatable. Insulin resistance does not just affect blood sugar, it drives inflammation throughout your entire body. It accelerates cognitive decline, it promotes fat accumulation around your organs, and it begins developing silently, often 10 to 15 years before blood sugar becomes abnormal enough to trigger a diabetes diagnosis. A 2026 Stanford study found that adults over 60 with elevated fasting insulin but still normal blood sugar had significantly higher rates of cognitive decline and accelerated biological aging. Normal fasting insulin should be below 8 microunits per milliliter. Many physicians consider anything below 25 acceptable. That gap is where silent damage accumulates for years. Ask your doctor to add fasting insulin to your next blood panel. The third indicator is hsCRP, high sensitivity C-reactive protein. This is a marker of systemic inflammation in your body. The standard CRP test detects acute infection or major inflammation. The high sensitivity version detects the subtle chronic smoldering inflammation that silently damages your body over decades. A 2025 meta-analysis from the Buck Institute confirmed that adults over 65 with even mildly elevated hsCRP had measurably accelerated biological aging and significantly higher risk of cognitive decline and cardiovascular events over 10 years. Optimal hsCRP for longevity is below 1.0 milligrams per liter. Many physicians do not act until levels exceed 3.0. That gap of 1.0 to 3.0 is where years of silent inflammatory damage accumulate. This test is inexpensive and widely available. It simply requires asking for it by name. The fourth indicator, and this one surprises almost everyone, is grip strength. I know, it sounds almost too simple, but here is what the research says. Grip strength is one of the single most powerful predictors of longevity, cognitive health, and overall biological aging currently known to science. A comprehensive 2025 analysis in the British Medical Journal reviewed data from over 50,000 adults across 17 countries and found that grip strength was a stronger predictor of all-cause mortality than systolic blood pressure in adults over 60. Stronger than blood pressure, the thing your doctor measures at every single appointment. For men over 65, optimal grip strength is above 35 kilograms of force, about 77 pounds. For women over 65, above 20 kilograms, about 44 pounds. You can purchase a dynamometer for under $30 and test yourself at home today. The fifth indicator is vitamin D with K2. Many doctors do check vitamin D, but here is the problem. Most physicians consider a level of 20 nanograms per milliliter adequate. Longevity researchers now argue optimal levels for adults over 60 are between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter, more than double what conventional medicine considers acceptable. A 2026 Harvard study found that adults over 65 with vitamin D levels above 50 nanograms had significantly lower rates of cognitive decline, falls, and cardiovascular events. And here is what most doctors never mention. Vitamin D works with vitamin K2. K2 directs calcium into your bones rather than your arteries. Without K2, vitamin D supplementation can actually increase arterial calcification risk. Ask your doctor for your specific vitamin D number, not just whether you are normal, your exact number, and ask about K2, 5 biomarkers, 5 simple affordable tests: ApoB cholesterol, fasting insulin, high sensitivity CRP, grip strength, and vitamin D with K2. None of these require a specialist or an expensive clinic. They require only one thing: a patient who knows enough to ask for them by name. And that is exactly what you are now. Your doctor is not hiding this from you. They are working inside a system that gives them 12 minutes and a checklist built for disease detection, not longevity. The conversation your doctor does not have time to start, you can start yourself. Write these 5 tests down right now. Take them to your next appointment and ask for them by name. If this video gave you something valuable today, please share it with someone you love. Subscribe to the Longevity Report for science-backed guidance every single week. And we will see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. You have absolutely earned it.